Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the What Turns You On podcast. I am Kaelen Marie. I am your host, and today, could I be any more excited about the goddess that I have on here? Probably not, because this woman here, Miss Michelle, let me tell you just a little bit about her. She is a powerhouse, and it would have been great if I'd had this ready to go, but I was just so excited to connect with her that I didn't get everything ready to be where it needed to be, but here we go. So, hold on, buttercups, because here she comes. Michelle Montel is devoted to the art of embodied pleasure. Through dance, sensual stretch, and intuitive movement, she explores desire as a spiritual and creative force. With a birth chart wired for passion, intellect, and verbal seduction, oh, like that right there, I'm just fucking turned on by that right there, right? She's deeply activated by thoughtful dialogue, emotional depth, and the power of words. Now, let me just quickly tell you. She's also a sensual astrologer. And we're going to be tapping into that today as well. So when she's talking about her birth chart that she's wired, she knows what the fuck she's talking about. Okay? She believes being turned on starts with self-connection. Amen. And that pleasure is a pathway to confidence, sovereignty, and truth. Oh, my goddesses, welcome, Michelle Montel. Babes, I am so fucking excited to have you here
I am
today.
so fucking excited right now.
I
I have
know,
been
right?
waiting for this collab with me and you since the first day I met you.
You know what? Same here. And I didn't even realize the first time that I met you, the depth, the breadth, the connection that you and I and your bestie have. And I'm just like, what? Like divine, like could it have been any more perfect? No.
Yeah. I don't think that I understood it either. Even when Amram was explaining, I really want you to meet my friend. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, you know me, I'm always here to network and meet new people. And then when I met you, I was like, oh, no, 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 no. This was definitely a connection that needed to happen.
Right. So as is tradition in this podcast, babe, what fucking turns you on? Mm.
Oh, I think that that's interesting how it evolves with time. But my currently, it's that just being able to move from raw authenticity, that unapologetic authenticity and creation. That is right now where I'm at with what turns me on as far as my life. Now, in the bedroom, there's a lot of those things.
As, as there
And one
absolutely
of
should
those
be.
is definitely the verbals, like we discussed. So,
Yes. So when you say this raw, authentic turn on, give us some examples. Let's elaborate on that. Bring
yeah,
this into light.
definitely. So, for me personally, I feel like as a mom, when I ran my studio and I was a mentor, and being a daughter, and I come from Asian roots, and so it's very highly Catholic. I feel like there was a lot of ways where it was like, this is how a mom should act, and this is how a business owner should act, and this is how you act as a mentor. And so what it was a lot of suppression of what lived inside of me, just raw. And what happens is that because our creation is connected to our sacral chakra,
100%.
when we are suppressing things that feel natural to us, sensuality, sexuality, that's for me, not that's not for everybody, but for me, it bleeds out everywhere, like, from your sacral out. So your creativity, like the way you show up in relationships, all those things. And so for me, authenticity meant that I was not moving. like a typical mom or a typical mentor or what was I was supposed to do. I was moving from a place that felt really good and aligned to me, with of course still, consideration and respect for those other things, but it's like this is kind of who I am, and just moving from that place, even through my dance, of understanding like I'm taught, and being able to be like I'm sexy and I'm hot and that's who I am. And when I dance, yes, it looks sexy, instead of being like, oh, let me not be too sexy to offend you. That's what I mean, is just that, like, being able to be authentic. And the more that I stepped into that authenticity of my sensuality, of just being like, oh, you're allowed to be sexy, because even in a relationship, it's like, oh, don't be too sexy, because then your partner might be upset that you're out there being too sexy. And it's like, but I am, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but it's an energy, right? It's not just
Yes.
the appearance. I am just a sexy energy. And when I understood my birth chart, I was like, oh, no shit, I am a sexy energy. And the reason I have been missing so many opportunities and I felt so down in life is because I didn't tap into that. So, it's a lot of those things of just really embracing that sensual part, and my creativity, my relationships, the type of people around me, they were so much more aligned. Nothing has changed with my relationships with my children. We have very close relationships. They're very, I mean, do they side eye the pole in my kitchen? 100%. But do they support it? They're like, I mean, do you, mom? So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I've got some questions here for you, but first off, let me just tell our listeners that she has a stripper pole in her kitchen. And how fucking amazing is that? Like, shouldn't we all have a stripper pole in our kitchen?
100%.
For
We
those of us
should.
that want it, abso-fucking-lutely, right? So I've got two questions for you. The first
Yeah.
one is, what triggered you to make you realize that you were different than the average normal mentor, mom, blah, 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 blah? Question number one. And when and how did you realize astrology is part of you and dance is part of you?
Oh yeah. So there is, I feel like it's a domino effect for me. So the first question was what triggered me to, would you can you repeat that? Because I want to make sure I touch on all those. So what triggered me?
What triggered you to realize that you were different than what the norm is? Like, that's big because we all at
Yes.
some point realize I am not like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I feel like the trigger to that was the falling apart of my whole life.
That will
When my
do it.
whole life exploded, because when we move from a place that is not aligned with who we are, the universe has a way of ripping the rug out from under us and no longer allowing us to function from those places. So, for me, that was the trigger for that. And so it was losing my business dissolving. It was,
What was your
um,
business?
as I had a dance studio
Okay.
that I ran for 10 years. I started it when I was 25. We literally fundraised to start it. I put my whole heart into it. That is honestly when I knew I was different, because I was a single mom. I was not, the norm. I think even when I was younger, I had my son when I was 17. Most people are like, oh, they'll drop out, they won't. And I hustled. Like, I made sure I graduated early. And then, of course, like me being a young mom and being in really toxic relationships, I wasn't going to let that stop me from opening a business. So there's different ways that I could see that I was a little different. I had a different mindset. Um, and not than others. I think a lot of people have that mindset. It's just when you decide to tap into it. So in no way is it like I'm above anyone or better than anyone. It's just that it was when it clicked for me that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm moving a little differently. And
Mm.
I worked hard for a lot of those things, but unfortunately I was in relationships that were progressively getting more and more abusive, because I was not paying attention to where the holes were within myself.
Ooh.
And so it was kind of like the losing of my business. I almost died in my last abusive relationship. And then when all that went down, I lost a lot of people that were my friends. And so that was that was the trigger. That
Wow.
was definitely the trigger. And when I got to that place, I was like, well, shit, I have nothing left to lose anymore. So, you definitely take that time and you isolate and you reflect and you um, have those moments where you're like, who am I now? I don't have dance, which I'm aligned with. My children, are in disarray. We're in a hotel. I don't have a house, so I don't have all these accolades like my house, my car, my business, my friendships to define who I am. So who the fuck am I?
Ooh. Yeah.
And so from there, it was just a lot. I feel like it was a lot of feeding through the trash. So the way that I describe it is if you have a closet and you just keep throwing the trash in there because you're like, oh, I'll take that out later, and you keep throwing the trash in there, it builds up, it builds up, it builds up, it gets stinkier and stinkier. Then you open the door and it all comes flooding out. And eventually, piece by piece, you have to take the trash out. So
Yep.
I feel like that's a part of what I had to do. And then when my dad died, I actually have a really strong tie to a lot of my issues with relationships and being feminine, and like that battle between the masculine and the feminine was combined with my dad. So the strange thing that happened to me was that that last catalyst was when my dad passed away, and I had to do a lot of therapy and a lot of work around this. It was almost like all these shackles broke off of me.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
that's the only way I could describe it. It was like a and
Oh.
it was very bittersweet because I felt free, but I was grieving this person that was supposed to be my safe space. And now I can look like our parents do the best that they can. He had his trauma too, and a lot
Mm.
of really
Mm.
difficult things he went through. But so that was really confusing for me because I'm supposed to be grieving, but I felt free. And so I really had to sit with what that meant and get some
Yes.
therapy around it. Cause I'm like, how am I feeling free? But my dad died.
Wow.
And when he died, I finally released that relationship. I actually went back after the last person almost killed me. I went back to that relationship and I stayed in it. And when my dad died, I actually was able to leave that relationship. Like it was almost like the curse was broken. That's the only way I can describe it. And I
It
could not
was.
unsee, I couldn't unsee toxic connections anymore.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like, and from there, then it was like the way that I had to build myself up and handle that. I was like, oh no, I'm a bad bitch. I am a bad bitch. I am a hurting bad bitch, but I'm not going to be hurting for, the rest of my life.
This too
And that
shall pass.
actually goes into your next question, where I've always actually been interested in astrology. In fact, one of my old girlfriends was like, do you remember when we used to be like, oh, this boy, and you'd be like, what's his sign? And like the really fun way. But that then led into my astrology because my therapy did remove a lot of layers, right? But
Oh.
I needed more depth. It felt really surface, and also I felt like I couldn't fully just express with the therapist. It was like I was still filtered. I was
Yeah.
still really filtered with her. And so when I started going into my chart, oh my gosh, the way that everything started just clicking, and I was like, oh my God, this, like all of this stuff, the abusive men, my dad, the fall of my business, the fall of my friendships was all lessons within my chart around sensuality, self worth, accepting who I am. It was all connected. And it was just a matter of when I just wanted to wake up and see the connection. And that's why
Okay.
I'm so passionate. Yeah.
Okay. So this has got so many things, bells and whistles going off in my head right now. How many of us are in relationships, situations, employment, things that absolutely are not serving us, that are killing us, and we think it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
We think that it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's what everyone else is expecting, but we forget about us. I mean, I was so in that bucket, and it wasn't even a bucket; it was a fucking ocean, right?
Yes, I could
Eh,
see that in your chart.
We'll get to that here in just a
Yep.
little bit, right? And when I realized myself, and how many of us are realizing, oh my gosh, I'm sensual, but I'm terrified to express it. I'm terrified to show it. And
What would
when,
everyone think?
yeah. Oh, and if you're
Mm.
in any kind of religious trauma, societal conditioning, the thought of speaking your truth and going against the and saying these are things that are me and it's taboo. And it's like it's taboo to all of them, but it's not taboo to me. It's not
Hmm.
taboo to you. It's actually what makes me alive. It's what energizes me. It's what brings me up and out. I was having a conversation the other day with this delicious, delicious friend of mine, and he was talking about his naughtiness. And I'm like, you know what? I like being naughty too, but then I'm like, if it's what I like, is it naughty? Who says it's naughty?
Yeah. Who
Who
decided
has the
that?
right to tell me if
Yeah.
it's naughty or if it's nice? Nobody does but myself.
100%. It's our own conditioning.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay,
It's
now,
our own conditioning.
let's hold on to that for just a second. You're hitting upon something here. How many of us are claiming everyone else's stuff as our own,
Mm.
as our own
Girl,
energy,
say that again.
right? How many of us are claiming all of this shit as our own and thinking that it's our energy? And when we wake up to the fact that this is not who we are,
Hmm.
we're like, wait, I've been carrying someone else's shit this whole time. This fucking bag of rocks that I've been schlepping around my entire life that's literally weighed me down and hurt my body physically, mentally, emotionally, it's not even mine.
Yeah.
And look at what happened when you said it.
Hmm.
I felt free. I was grieving, but I'm free. All
Hmm.
of that was never yours to begin with. Were they lessons to help bring you up to the truth of who you are? Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Yeah. What else is coming through for you right now? Because we just laid down a lot of stuff right
We
here.
did. That I am pretty intense when it comes to that. I have Scorpio. I have an intercepted house of Scorpio and Libra in my fifth house. So what brings me joy, like my romance, all of that is very deep, dark, magnetic type things. So I'm always known to go right straight for the tough stuff. So
God, you know what? And
uh,
speaking of what that's always been me, I'm like, don't you dare small talk me. I will leave. I will
yeah.
find the
Oh,
quickest exit,
same,
and this bitch is
same.
out of there. I
That's
can't.
actually me in relationships too. I cannot have any kind of deep connection or relationships with small talk. If you can't like have a conversation and talk about some deep shit, I am just like, it is not it for me.
And I'm going to say that was what, when I first met you and Antoinette, we have a common friend. His name is Amram, for those of you that are listening. And Amram, when he met me and he's got Michelle and Antoinette, he's like, you all have to meet. Like, you have to. And I was like, sure, that sounds great, you know. And then when we did, we're like, oh my gosh. Like,
Hmm.
could we go any deeper? And I'm
I
like,
had literal goosebumps. I just was like,
right,
I know that this is the woman I'm supposed to connect with.
dude. And then when I realized that, I was like, now, one of the things that I want to also bring up is your soul sister society.
Yes.
Because Soul Sister Society, wow. And in fact, at our very first meeting, you had asked me to come and present. And I was like, yup, 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 yup. And I didn't even know what I was coming into. But when I went in and I was like, oh, these are my people. They get it. They understand pleasure. They want pleasure. They desire pleasure. How did Soul Sister Society, first off, what is it? And how did it come about?
Yeah, so Soul Sister Society is a women empowerment group. We wanted to open it up to whoever, like whatever you believe, whatever your spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs are, whatever, if you're a mom or a businesswoman or wanting to be a businesswoman or an entrepreneur, whatever you are coming from. We just wanted a space for women to come together and be respected and appreciated and supported for exactly who they
Mm,
are,
mm,
while
mm,
also
mm.
bringing them different tools to help continue to elevate them in life. And for me, a big aspect of that is the inner child and the creative part, which is why we always have those creative activities, because when we don't realize there's a lot, it's just like therapy when they do play therapy for kids. You don't realize, like, you're sitting there and you're doing stuff, and then you're just speaking things and you're getting things out, and it sparks these conversations that are actually so healing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's interesting is actually Antoinette, who's my best friend that you're talking about, we have known each other for a long time, but not as close as we are now. And it was really interesting because it was almost like we had to go through these like character developments and these different stages in our life while still staying connected and aligned before we had that full impact of the connection of our friendship. So she has always been like really passionate about women and networking and was speaking about it. And I also wanted to start a women's networking group. And I was more passionate about it from like when you get lost in like being in a domestic violence situation, when you get lost in the title of being a mom, when you get lost in whatever, a daughter, a caretaker, whatever all those things are. I wanted 1 hour or more for women to sit down and really not be any of that and just figure out who the fuck am I? And I
Mm.
can say whatever I want unfiltered. And I'm a little bit more of the spicy one in the group. So naturally, yes, I was like, oh, we are 100% bringing Kaelen Marie with all her pussy power and her pleasure. That is 100% because, yes, we can talk about wealth and we can talk about growing a business and we can talk about social media. But is anyone talking about your pussy?
Oh, my favorite subject, just my favorite subject. We get on the topic of pussy, and I have to share this with you. Oh, oh, and it's going to just bring tears to my eyes because it never ceases to amaze me because I didn't think that first off that my pussy would even wake up after being in a, 35 plus year marriage and be able to be turned on like I've heard other people talk about. And when I
Mm-hmm.
stepped into healing, deep, deep healing, and she woke up with a vengeance, I was like, whoa, whoa, hello. And just the other day to yesterday morning, nothing brings me greater joy than, oof, than when I make love to myself.
Yes.
And I cannot, I mean, like you talk about a spiritual connection. I weep with so much love for me. And she is like, yeah, babe, this is who you really are. And
Mm-hmm.
it's igniting. It's that. And I've got one of my sister goddesses, she hosts a yearly event called Fire Pussy. And it's literally, this is the year of the fire horse. I'm
Yes,
telling you
I am
what,
here for
this is
that.
this is the year of the fire pussy.
That is awesome.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. I kind of want to like do a little
Amen
bit of
to that.
R&D to that. This is the year of the fire pussy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what we are calling it from now on.
Yep. Yep. That's just been birthed here as well. This isn't the fire horse year. This is the fire pussy year. And that
Yes,
feels
love
really
that.
good. Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I love that. And I think that speaks so much once we get into that. But you could see that you really, I gotta pull up your birth state again
Oh,
because it just kicked me out really quick. But
yeah.
I do know how that I relate to how deeply you felt that just by actually seeing your chart and knowing how hard you've actually had to put in work to get to that place and to undo all of those self-limiting beliefs or those things that existed inside of you that made you feel like it's wrong to pleasure yourself or it's wrong to feel good for you. Like, I can see the work that you've had to do around that.
Wow.
It's actually quite I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Genuinely, it's great to see that you are in your power because
Yes.
there was a lot of restriction, and there's a lot of restriction in your chart. So for you to break out of those shackles, I feel like it's that same feeling that I felt with my dad, um where
Yes.
those shackles are just coming off. And
And
I
they're coming
see
off
that it
fast.
yes, it's like once it's like a thread of a sweater. It's like
Yes.
once it goes, it's just going and going. And you can't unsee and you can't stop it. And the only thing we have to do is ride the wave and embrace it and
Yes.
not give a fuck what anybody else
Oh, and
thinks.
you know what? That was probably, no, that was one of the most liberating things. And when I decided I have to let go of what other people think, because they're not living my life. They don't
No, and this is
know.
our personal experience. So why does anyone get a say in how we show up for an experience that was made specifically for us?
And it was, that's the thing is the universe fucking handcrafted these
Handcrafted.
experiences.
Yes.
Handcrafted.
Hmm.
No one gets to have a say in that.
No one. And as
Absolutely.
soon as we realize that is when the real power unlocks. And that is actually when we align with our people.
Yes. Well, it's apparent because here I
Here,
am
that we are a
aligning with,
prime example of that.
right, you and I here, totally, completely true. And
Yeah.
it's been so beautiful because the people have stayed in my life, that have continued, and those that are coming in and that are currently here that haven't been in very long, oh, they're so in alignment with me and me with them. And that's the power of it because we're finding our community when we step into our authenticity and our truth and we understand. Now here's going to be a question for you. What part of our chart do we really need to hone in on to help us see this experience? Like what is it that you see? What is it that, where's the first place that you go to in the chart, to in someone's chart, in your chart, to be able to see, oh, this is really what we're looking at?
Yeah. So I feel like the chart is so complex. I can spend hours in someone's chart. But I would say it depends on what area of their life they want to focus on. So,
Let's
for
focus on
instance,
pleasure.
okay, so pleasure, I always look at the fifth house, the seventh house. So the fifth house is our romance, joy, love. Our
Uh-huh.
seventh house is our relationships.
Hmm.
You want to look at the house of self, which is the first house, because that's our vitality, that's our core.
Yeah.
We want to look at the Venus sign,
Yes.
and then because that's the feminine, and then if we want to look at the feminine, then what else do we need to look at? We need
Gotta
to look
look
at
at
the
the man. Yep.
masculine, which is Mars, the counterpart,
Yep.
and that's like our really raw, um pioneering, bold part of ourself is where our Mars is.
Yeah.
So those are the areas of the chart that I look at for those things. um but overall, even like all of it just kind of intertwines, because even you'll want to look at where your north node is. Where north node is kind of like the direction that we are moving towards, like the stream that we're headed up in life. And then our midheaven is what we're here to do. So the thing is when I talked about that sacral, I feel like that is where some of this stuff starts, because when we find out what our joy is and what brings us joy and we move from that, that's when we really start to step into like our midheaven and what we're here to do and the legacy we're meant to leave,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're really actually here to experience a full life.
Yes.
We just
Yeah.
have to work through those parts that feel like it's working against us.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you see in my chart
Yeah,
when
so I'm
you
so
look at that?
excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just do
Um,
a little
so what
overview
I'm gonna
here.
do here is I'll give you guys a quick rundown of mine,
Yes.
just so you can understand me a little bit, and then I will go into yours. So this is
Okay.
really exciting. So for me, I'm a grand fire trine. So that means I have Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo, the fire signs, that make a triangle in my chart in the houses. Okay. So a lot of people are going to feel this like powerhouse, magnetic, fiery, passionate energy from me. A fire sign is naturally just hot, right? It's sexy, it's hot, it's sensual. So for me to not be playing that, it was like someone was taking and it was smothering my fire.
Oh,
So I
yes.
really had to learn how to work that fire part. I also have Sagittarius on my seventh house. So our seventh house kind of mirrors to us through relationships, where we need to grow. And then once we embody that, we get the higher energy of that sign. Every sign, every planet has a higher and lower vibe. It's
Uh-huh.
our choice where we move from. It's
Yeah.
always ideal to learn to move into the higher vibe of our sign.
Yeah.
So Sagittarius on my seventh house, that means that I am like adventure and sexy, but I could also be like, I don't want to be tied down. But because of that, I could end up with partners that restrict me so much until I figure out no, I need freedom. I need passion. I need you to tell me something I don't know. In addition to that, my Lilith is in Sagittarius. So we know the story of Lilith, that suppression, right? So when we get into Lilith, that is the part of us that we tend to suppress until we unlock. It's the darkest, it's the opposite of our sun, it's the darkest part of our chart. So
Oh,
that being in Sagittarius explains how I suppressed all that sensuality and how it came into my seventh house. So once that unlocked, well, here goes the dancing and the pole and the like all of the sexy juiciness and that power that I feel in freedom versus feeling like I'm powerless because I don't have a partner you
yes.
know and then of course I have a lot of very heavy Gemini placements. So the talking is really important, the intellect, that I am such a dirty talk girl. If you whisper in my ear, I will literally come in my pants.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah. I am so right
it
there with you, babes. So right there with you.
And I know I'm going to tell you that. So, and then I'm an Aries Venus, which is, I have a lot of red flag. Like if someone were to be doing like very pop astrology, they would look at me as a red flag. But I actually am so passionate. I am, that Aries Venus is also like how I show love. So I'll show love by hyping you, by being bold, by pushing you to be, independent and pushing you to find that power.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about me.
Oh,
Now
girl,
with
that is so
you,
fucking beautiful. I just have to say, before you go on, I have to share this with you. Oh my goddess. So, one of my friends, we had gone to a metaphysical store here about a week and a half ago, and this woman at this metaphysical store creates these candles that she does light language and sigils on.
I love
And
that.
well, it gets even better because while I was there, I'm like, oh, I need to do Lilith. I have to have her create a candle for
Yes,
Lilith.
you do.
Okay. So I had her do that. And as I go into the reading room, she's got these altars set up, and there's Apollo, Hestia, and Aphrodite. And Apollo is coming at me like you cannot believe. So now in my in my room, in my sacred space, I have my Lilith altar. And I have right next to it, and I didn't even click it. I have an Apollo altar, which is all about the sun. So I've got the masculine and the feminine and the very light to the very dark. Like
Isn't it crazy how you can't avoid it. It
you
just
can't.
once you unlock it, it just comes. It just
Yes.
keeps coming.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. I'm going to turn on my light really quick because I didn't even think about the fact that it starts to get dark at 4 o'clock. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn this on.
You betcha.
Okay.
Oh,
I
perfect.
didn't want me to fade out there. Okay. And especially during the juiciest part of this. Okay. So I have to tell you, first of all, the fact that you even mentioned Lilith and how connected you are to it, you actually really are. Lilith lives in your fifth house of romance, joy, love. So what is actually going to bring you the most joy is working with Lilith. So yeah, so your Lilith is in Capricorn. Okay. So that means that, okay, let me explain Capricorn and Saturn to you because you actually have a lot of this. So, Saturn, Daddy Saturn, that is the
Yes.
oldest planet. A lot of times where Saturn is in our chart, it's things that develop later in life, but there is a lot of restriction to start. It's
Hmm.
very disciplined, it's restrictive. And it's not
Yes.
for a mean reason, it's restrictive so we can learn the lesson, so we have longevity.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed
Um,
200%.
yes. So the interesting thing about that, and it can be Capricorn in its lowest vibe is very controlling. It's very controlled. It's very there's no like play and fun. It's like really rigid, and these are the rules. And so when it's in its lowest vibe, it struggles with play. Okay.
Mm.
So here we have Lilith in Capricorn in living in your fifth house, which tells me your house of, that's your house of children,
Mm.
joy, romance. That tells me there was a lot of restriction through a lot of your life. I would say maybe okay, so when we think that Saturn, we think 40s and later, okay? um, that this starts unlocking and the restriction starts to lift. Does that have to be? No. We have the power in our own chart. Our chart is not going, it's not a fortune teller. I'm sorry, my children
You're
are
fine.
coming. It's not a fortune teller, but it is a pathway to understand if that is happening, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay.
Yeah.
So that lives in your fifth house, which tells me a lot of the first part of your life was very restricted. It was very controlled. You have an intercepted house, which I love. You actually have Sagittarius on your fifth house. So that every time, anytime we have a sign on our house, that's the key to unlocking. So Sagittarius being on your fifth house, the key to unlocking your romance and your joy is Sagittarian things like being a master of joy, a master of romance, a master of sensuality. It's actually intercepted with Capricorn though. So you have two signs in that house. So Capricorn in there tells me you had a ton of restriction, right? But the key to unlocking that is Sagittarian things, travel, be free, don't be locked down, expand in fiery type things like dancing and sexuality and all of these juicy things of life. And that unlocks that fifth house of your joy and romance.
Mm.
The other interesting part of this is you have Mars on your right on your rising sign in your so anytime we have planets on our rising sign, it does the opposite. It affects the descendant sign, which is our relationship sign, and you have Saturn right on your relationship house, not relationship sign, relationship house. My apologies. So what that means for me, okay, first of all, you're a Mars and Leo. So, you little bad bitch, you are a powerhouse. You are joy. I just see you work with all this joy and this passion and magnetism. There, you are just magnetic. A
Mm.
fire sign
Mm.
and a fire planet is so magnetic, but that also means that there was a lot of volatility.
Yeah.
You've experienced a lot of volatility because Mars, while that's raw, it's also war and aggression. And that sits on how you showed up in the world.
Oh.
A lot of that experience like how it affected how you showed up in the world. It affected you. Okay, here's the thing with Leos that I will tell you because I'm a Leo moon. Leos struggle with taking up space. They are naturally magnetic. You see me, I'm
Yes.
magnetic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Well, I struggled with taking up space,
Uh-huh.
even though you couldn't tell. No one knows that,
Right.
but you
Agreed.
struggle with that. And that's because of a lot of the volatility and the aggression and the things that you've experienced. It really caused you to not take up the true Leo lioness, big, bold space that was like really restricted, especially with Saturn on your seventh house of relationships. The relationships restricted you,
Oh.
whether
Oh.
that's your relationship with God, your
Yep.
relationship with a parent, which Saturn is the father,
Yes.
a relationship with your partner.
Yep.
You have functioned in relationships that were very, very restrictive. In addition, you have Pisces in your seventh house, which is boundless and delusion. So that means that you had rose colored glasses on for your whole life around the men in your world, and you idealized them, and um thought that they were something that they weren't, and they gave you smoke and mirrors. You got
You,
a lot of smoke and mirrors, and the boundaries that you had did not exist.
every single thing, like, okay, first off, listeners, let's just be clear. I've not said anything to her about this is how I've rolled through life, and every single thing is true. The church, my father, my ex, I literally, my father used to say, you live in a magic lantern because you wear rose-colored glasses all the time. And and you're exactly right. And when all of that came off, wow, when I saw that I could never unsee again, I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's getting in my way anymore. Ever
Yeah.
again, I can't.
Yeah.
Because then
So let
I'm not owning me.
Yeah, no, 100% you weren't. You were
Yeah.
living in the land of delusion.
Such a land of delusion.
hmm Painted by a lot of the masculine figures, Mars and Saturn, masculine planets. You
Yep.
were living in a land of delusion from the masculine figures, and it affected how we show up, which is our rising sign. It
Yeah.
affected how we show up in the world,
Yes.
how the
Oh,
world views us,
oh
and
yeah.
how we show up, how we take up space.
Yeah. Yeah. And the hardest thing I ever did was to complete a 35-year marriage, to leave the Mormon church. And yet, as soon as I did that, that's only been 4.5 years ago.
hmm
And look where I'm at now. It's
Girl,
like,
I did not know that was 4.5 years
oh
ago.
yeah, it was only four
The
and a half years
work,
ago.
oh my gosh, girl, the work you have done
The work
in
I
that
have
period of
done.
time. Holy shit.
Yeah,
You're a bad bitch.
that's what I'm saying. It's like literally when the shackles came off, it's like freedom, like I never knew. It just exploded. And I don't even know where
Yeah.
I'm going yet, but I know it's really fucking
Great. Oh,
amazing.
well, we're going to talk about that, babe. So the other thing, and again, I want to meet with you to do this a little deeper, and I'm going to skim over a lot of stuff, and I could spend
You know what we're
hours
going
with
to
you. I'm just
do?
telling you.
Yeah, let's literally take about another 5 to 7 minutes and then
Oh, okay. I will rush it. I
well,
will rush
no,
through it.
just allow whatever's meant to come through, okay? Because we just, yeah. And
Yeah.
then we'll continue on from there, but go ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to go really quick over your first house and we'll hit this deeper. You have a Virgo stellium in your first house. So, while you are I have you as let me see. Let me make sure I put your 1:33 a.m., right? Was
Yep.
what you gave me. Yeah. So I have you actually the sun in Libra
I know,
at
right?
29 degrees.
I know,
Okay. But
right?
that's 29 degrees. So that degree shifted and you have functioned a lot more. Um, you function more like a Virgo. But what that means, you have Pluto in Virgo, you have Uranus in Virgo, and you have your Venus in Virgo all in your first house. So that's a stellium. And that is a lot around perfectionism and again control. It's crazy that you have this Capricorn and Saturn on your fifth and seventh house, then you've got Virgo in your first house, and that's all a lot of control,
Mm,
a lot of control and perfectionism. And
mm.
if you have been walking through life finally saying fuck it,
Yes.
then you are doing your work,
Yes.
because you don't need to be perfect.
Yep.
You don't need to overanalyze yourself and overanalyze. That's Virgo. Overanalyze how you innovate. Uranus is innovation. You don't need to overanalyze how you innovate. You don't need to overanalyze how you show up with things you love in Venus. Um, so I'm going to get into those ones deeper because I want to actually get into the juicy stuffs here. So Aquarius is on the sign that you have Saturn in, and that is also Saturn ruled sign, and it's on your seventh house, which means Aquarius is the rebel. That sign, if you put Aquarius in a box, they are going to rebel.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do with Aquarius energy is let it be free, let it innovate. And so, what's interesting is like I talked to you about the mirrors, you have Aquarius on the seventh house. So, you went through a lot of relationships that restricted your innovation, that restricted that rebel part of you, that, fiery, like, what's the word, that like the humanitarian parts of you, the I can't think of the word when it comes back to me. However, what happens when we break those chains is that it's freedom.
Yes.
Okay, that Aquarius, you are now moving in relationships with this freedom and this like not
Mhm.
normal way of doing things, because Aquarius is they don't do things in the norm.
Yep.
at
Agreed.
all. I
Mm-hmm.
watch people with Aquarius midheavens that are all like, I dropped out of high school. And I'm like, I know you fucking did. Because high school is stamp and go,
You
stamp and go.
can't.
It's very cookie
Mm-hmm.
cutter, and that shit is not for you. Antoinette is an Aquarius midheaven. She dropped
There
out
you
of
go.
high school, but here she is, a bad bitch with her own business, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So that you're now into more freedom. You're now into a rebellion part of you that is so juicy and good. And then you
Oh,
have Pisces in your seventh house, which is just so lovely and yes, very sexy. Pisces love sex and they
yes.
love connection and they love touch. Um, so you have a
Mm.
combo of that. So what I want to tell you is this Lilith in Capricorn and this Sagittarius in your house of joy, working with Lilith, um, doing Sagittarius things like travel, mastering whatever sex, whatever that is for you, whatever is bringing you joy at the moment. That, along with your freedom, is magic. But let me tell you this in your midheaven, this is where I love to see this. You are a Taurus Gemini. You have a Taurus Gemini intercepted house in your midheaven. Tauruses are so sensual. It's Venus ruled. It's
Yes.
so sensual. It's so grounded. But then you have Gemini, which is the voice. We communicate the words from above and out. We are the translators. We bring it all down. Okay. And that's my Mercury, that's my sun, that's my rising. Okay. So we just take it and we can't not do it.
It's true.
This is what you're here to do. And your Jupiter is in Taurus and so is your moon. So you are here to bring all this sensuality and the goodness and the things that feel good on you and all of that, all this sensuality, and you're supposed to speak it. You
Mm.
speak about it because Geminis are
Mm.
the speakers. We teach,
Mhm.
we speak, we intellect, we that's what Geminis do. Well,
We
your
do
North
podcasts
Node,
on what turns
that
you on.
exactly, you are in your power. And I just wanted to validate that for you because
Yes.
not only is that Gemini and all of that in your midheaven, but that is also, hold on, my
Oh, where'd she go? Hello? Come back. Here she comes. Hi, honey.
I was so turned on, I turned off. Um,
I love it.
um, but all of that being said, not only is all of that in your 10th house, but your North Node. Okay, I'm going to explain North Node really fast. Our North and South Node, those are opposites. Our South Node is typically where we function from as we are younger. I took this class from this astrologer that explained it really well. Our South Node is like our addiction, it's like crack. Okay. And
Mm.
our north node is the other side of it that's much better, it's more evolved. What
Mm.
happens to us is we stay where we're comfortable in our south node. An addict is like, well, I could stop doing crack or stop drinking, but I that feels hard. So the north node is like the bus that comes by consistently. It consistently shows up. And the south node is like, well, there's this limo over here. That's the shit that I like. I'm used to riding in a limo. And so we typically will jump in the limo versus taking that bus that comes by consistently that is actually pushing us to where we need to go. So this is like a lifelong journey for us. The fact that your legacy, your 10th house, your midheaven, what you're here to do also has your north node in it in Gemini. I can't tell you enough how much you speaking, doing this podcast, getting on social media, all about sensuality and Venus and abundance and connection and groundedness is so you're just in line and
Mm.
you're in power. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you. And that Mars, how you take action, is very magnetic. It's Leo. It's very magnetic. It's a lioness. And I just want to encourage you to continue to take up space.
Mm.
Really keep taking up space, keep speaking, keep getting yourself out there because You, my dearest friend, are working in your power in a way that you don't even realize. Like, you don't know, you didn't know your chart. Like, you knew some of your chart, and you probably maybe had a reading here and there, but not like to the depth of
This
like
makes
truly
so much
understanding
sense.
this stage of your life. You're a Leo rising. So you're here to take up space. You're here to be magnetic. You're here to fucking roar, bitch. You are here to fucking roar. You literally are a goddess.
Oh my gosh,
And
thank
that
you.
Libra sun,
Mm.
you've really had to struggle with the balance in relationships your whole life with that Libra sun. At 29 degrees, it's an urgency. That is not an easy degree. 29
Oh,
degrees is the final degree. That is a lot of lessons. So a lot of lessons very much in your face around balance in energy and
oh,
relationships. It has been in your face your whole life in a way that's more intense than others because it's at a 29th degree, along with your moon is also at a 29th degree. So this means that the emotions tied to it, your intuition, all of those things were really coming at you intensely because this is the final degree. This is the final lesson. This is where you actually really embody it at a mastery level, Kaylin, a mastery level.
okay. You're like, well, I'm getting like a lump in my throat here because whew, I see it. I see
Yeah.
it. As you've
And
explained this to me, like the internal struggle that I've had is real. It's
mhm,
this continuous fighting. And when I finally said yes to me 4.5 years ago, has it been easy? Oh gosh, no. How have I done it? By God's sheer grace and my
mhm.
angels and my spirit team and my knowing that come hell or high water, I was going to make it, even though there were very, very, very
You
dark
absolutely
moments.
are. Yeah, you absolutely were meant to be great. I'm going to give you two last little tidbits and then I'll be done with the astrology stuff.
Okay.
Your sixth house is uh Aquarius predominant. Our sixth house is our day-to-day routine, our day-to-day job. You are not meant to do a regular job. You are going to be very innovative. Whatever comes to you, whatever idea, whether people are on board yet, Aquariuses are above the realm. So they're ahead of the game. Other people will catch on later. I
Yeah,
want you just to continue to do what feels good to you, what you innovate, even if no one else is doing it. That's your gift.
that is my
The other
sweet
thing
spot.
is your hopes and dreams, your network, how you network your friendships. The key to that house, it's actually ruled by Cancer, but the key to that house is Gemini. So it is going to be getting out there, networking, getting online, doing your podcast, anything that is communication related,
Yeah.
travel related. So those are a couple keys that I want you to pay attention to as you continue this journey. But let me tell you, you are an absolute fucking powerhouse. I see in your chart a lot of the things that you have really had to get deep with and overcome, and where you've really had to fight for your power. And you sure as shit did that. You did that
Mm,
shit. You
yeah.
did that shit.
Thank you for seeing me, for honoring me, because it's just been it's as you can see, it's been a lifelong challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the fact that I'm still here because dark thoughts are real, as I had mentioned just a moment ago. And wow, I was like, I'm done here. I'm finished. Can I
Mm-hmm.
just go now? And and when I wake up and I'm still here, I'm like, okay, guess there's still things that I get to do, but I'm excited. I'm turned
Yeah.
on. I know that it will pass, and I'm excited to see what I'm going to do. I mean, for what
Yeah.
I've been able to accomplish in my life thus far on literally the limited power that I've been working with, and as I am entering in and owning all of my power, whoa. And yet, every single human is that way.
Yeah.
When we
So,
stop and go and say we're worth it and fall in love with us and move forward, there's nothing that can stop us.
yeah,
Nothing except ourselves.
exactly. Jupiter is going into Leo this summer. That's your rising sign and how you show up in the world. So I will tell you. you're about ready to be a powerhouse in this next year.
I'm so
Yeah,
ready. I'm so
it's really
ready.
you're really gonna see how you're showing up, how you're expanding. So you
Beautiful.
just hang in there, you keep up with it. Those air sign placements, that Aquarius, that Gemini, that Libra, that is a lot of mental activity. I relate to that a lot. And so you just really a great way for you to handle that is by doing sexy shit with that Sagittarius.
I love sexy
Tap
shit.
in, like, yeah,
Mm, I love
look
it.
up a couple things, like do your research on Sagittarius and start really embodying that, and
Okay.
that is going to unlock so much more joy for you.
Oh, Goddess, I cannot thank you enough for coming on here today. And this, I already know, this is just the beginning of whatever you and I are meant to go and expand and create in. Like, I don't even know, but I don't have to worry about it. But all I know is that I'm fucking turned on by it. And literally, like, I feel my pussy, and she's like, "Trrr." I'm like, I know, babe. I totally get it. I'm right there with you. Good thing we're connected because I'm right there with
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
So, so here, anyone who is here who wants to understand more of their sensual part of their chart, their dark, because it is literally where we see the shadow work that we get to do that illuminates everything else. And
Hmm.
if we can go into the darkness and hold the light,
Hmm.
that's power.
Yeah.
That's power.
Yep. And
I'm
that's where our power comes from, is those
exactly
dark parts.
right. I am inviting anyone and everyone who feels the call. I'm going to put all of Michelle's information down in the description. Connect with her, have a reading, go deep because we don't do that surfacey shit. Let's just be clear, right?
Yes.
Um, just really embrace the fact that you are meant to do something amazing because everyone is. So as we wrap this up, my goddess, give us an out, give us an outrageous dare that you want our
Okay.
viewers to just.
I was thinking about this. I feel like I have a good one. I feel like it's very I feel like it's not too bad of a dare, but it's a really, really good one. So I would suggest, here's my dare for everybody. I would suggest that you get dressed in whatever makes you feel the hottest, most sexy. Do whatever that means for you. No makeup, lots of makeup, beautiful hair, less clothes, whatever makes you just feel super sexy, and go out in public and take a bunch of fucking pictures of yourself. Do some videos, just capture that moment of you feeling sexy and empowered outside, unapologetically, not giving a shit what anyone says or looks or sees.
Mm.
And that
I'm
would
taking
be
on that.
my
I'm
dare.
taking on that dare. I
Yes,
am
I want to
taking
be
on
there
that
with you.
dare.
I'll take the pictures for you.
Okay, we're gonna set something up here. Okay, because that's gonna push my edges because that means that's
Yes.
me being seen and that's me facing a lot of stuff too.
And taking up space, girl, because
Taking up
there's still
space.
so much more space that you have to take up. And when you do it, my God.
Oh, oh, and when you hear these things, like we hear it, and then we're like, yeah, I hear it, I hear it, I hear it, but I don't see anything that's making it say it's true.
Yeah.
And it's in those moments where it's like, I have two choices. I can either keep going or I can forget it.
Yeah.
But what if I just keep going? And what if it does come true?
And what do we have to lose? And you're absolutely right. Those are the two choices we have. We either keep going, or we just stay complacent.
Yeah. And the human soul doesn't like complacency.
No,
Not
it's
at
meant to
all.
live.
I know. In such a juicy
Yeah.
turned on way.
Yes. Amen to that, girl.
Yes, yes, yes. Mm. And also, may I go ahead and put some information in the description about the Soul Sister Society for those of you that are
Yes,
local,
absolutely.
would really here in the greater Colorado, Denver area, would love to have this expansion because we're all seeking community. We really are, whether we
And
realize
that's
it or
really what
not.
we're moving into is community and realizing how much of that collaboration in that community is actually what we're all needing right now, what the world is needing right now, in
Yeah.
order for all of us to really expand and enjoy
Yeah.
life.
Mm, mm. Goddess, thank you so very much. All right, my beautiful listeners, I'm just going to say take the outrageous dare and always, always remember to live in that space of what turns you on. Like, share, do the things, get this word out there because we as humans, especially as women, as goddesses, as fucking bad bitches that
Hmm.
we are meant to shine and take up space. And chances are our chart's going to tell us that anyway. So why not just live up to our full potential? And always
Absolutely.
remember, right. Thank you, Goddess, for being here. And for listeners, always remember to ask yourself the question, what turns you on? Thanks for being here. And